Hey there. So I just want to show you guys how to paint. Come on down. Now, a lot of people get tape and all kinds of stupid things, right? First of all, you want to hold it like it's a pencil, okay? So that's important. Then, you want to get yourself a nice, clean line and just go for it without dripping stuff all over the place, because, you know,
That makes a mess.
we're not children.
Not anymore.
So I'd just like to say that painting white is easy.
Oh, painting white is easy? Well, I mean,
White is easy.
that's fair. You think there's the black harder?
I guarantee you the black's harder.
All right, well, hold on a second. Let me just finish this little bit, and I'll give you a black a shot and see if that's okay.
Bring it over. That's pretty good what you're doing right there, though.
Yeah, for white.
Yeah, but I mean, because it's white, it's probably easier, right? So let's just try it. Let's just see what you got. Oh, yours looks good.
I know, but this isn't a regulation brush.
Oh, it's not a regulation brush? Well, let's take a look. I don't know. So let's just see if our technique works. So you just grab it like a pencil again, and then just take a look. Okay, so here's Mike, and let's just see if we can make a nice clean line here. Huh.
Is it working?
It's hard to say.
That's easy to say.
It's easy to say.
So it is working?
Yeah, it's hard to say. So what do you think about this, Mike? You're kind of an entrepreneur, right?
A little bit.
What about an inconvenience store? So it would be like a convenience store, except everything would be inconvenient in it, right?
I like it.
What kind of stuff would you have in there, you think?
Inconvenient?
Yeah.
How about an empty toilet paper roll?
Ooh, that's very inconvenient.
heck yeah.
That will turn a restroom into a panic room real quick.
You ain't kidding.
Especially if you have septic.
As soon as you're out here, you're like, no!
Yeah. So anyway, I think you get the point. You were right. This is not a regulation brush.
I think you got lucky on that little spot.
I got lucky. You want to keep going? Yeah, it's weird. Don't look too close.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we're still on the first coat. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's not regulation brush.
Stupid non-regulation brushes.
See you guys later. Oh, hey there. So we just got granted in. Fidel did a great job. And now we're gonna put in backsplash. And look at this beautiful backsplash we're gonna put in. So we're so excited about it. Now look, this comes in sheets, okay? So the mosaic comes in sheets. So it looks like when you open one up, okay? Then I'll show you how it looks. I think it'd be like this. John, you teach us so much stuff. We never see it because we do different things for a living. I'd like to see what you do for a living. Maybe you can show me. Okay, so you see how it's got this mesh backing on the back? Then that's called mosaic, right? So this piece fits right into the next piece and so on and so forth. But what about the far edge? How do you deal with that? We cut that square. So we're gonna cut this off square and we'll start right there. This is type 1 mastic, right? So this stuff right here, we just take and scoop it on and then spread it on the wall. So I'll show you. That way you'll know. Here we go. So we're just gonna take that and spread it on. This is a V-notch trowel. And then what happens is the stuff sticks to that. So the tile will stick to that. Now we've got to cut it before we can put something on. So I'll show you that in a minute. But you've probably seen me do this enough that you're like, John, we're bored with you. So we're gonna put that on. And then obviously wherever the outlets are, you have to take the outlet covers off and then take these screws out. Be careful on the right side of the outlet. That's what'll shock you. There's 2 screws there. That'll shock you. You don't want that. You're better than that. We almost made that mistake today. I was like, wait, what? So this is kind of how this goes. And then we'll start putting it on here in just a second once we cut. So I'll tell you what's on my heart. I know a lot of people that are going through a lot of hard times right now, right? And it seems like when it rains, it pours. So they're like, this happened, but then this happened, but then this happened, but then this happened. And it's not just one family. I know several people that are going through this, and it breaks my heart. I just want to like go and hug them. And you know, I think some of you guys know who you are, and maybe you don't know how much I care about you guys, but I see this and I'm just like, oh, this hurts me. And I want you to think about this. People talk about the trials of Job, okay? And the trials of Job were not a punishment for Job. The trials of Job were because, this is how it says, Satan was walking to and fro throughout the world, looking for people, right? And then he comes up and he accuses somebody because he's the accuser. And God, while Satan's saying, look at all these bad people, says, have you seen my servant Job? And brags about him. And he says, hey, that dude is solid. right? At which point, the devil's like, oh yeah? Well, let's just see how solid he is. He's solid because you take care of him. You got a hedge of protection around him. Nothing bad happens to him. But I'll tell you what, you take away his stuff and he won't love you anymore. He'll curse your name. And so God says, okay, I will let you. Now think about this. The devil has to ask permission before he does something to you, okay? And then he says, you can touch his stuff, but you can't touch him. And so in a day, Job loses everything. It's devastating, right? And he at the end of all this bad news, and it's a lot of bad news, just look it up. At the end of all this, he falls down on his knees and he says, naked I came into this world and naked I will leave. God gives and God takes away. Who in the world am I to say what God can and can't do? And his wife says, why don't you just curse? He said, are you still holding on to your integrity? Why don't you just curse God and die? Now let's think about that for a minute. Does that make anything better? I know that sometimes it's tempting. You're like, I think if I just curse God and die, that it'll be better. It won't. Keep holding on, right? Keep holding on because it matters. And so then the devil comes back and God's like, well, see, like I said, Job's solid. And the devil's, well, curse his flesh and he'll curse you, so God says, okay. Once again, Satan asks for permission. God grants him permission, but this is not a punishment. This is a test. And if you think about it, so then what happens is Job gets boils all over his skin and it's not pretty. But at the end of it, he's healed, he's restored, and he has twice as much as he had before. But the important thing is that gold, okay, and I know this because I worked in a gold mine, gold starts off and it's in the mix of yuck, right? Kind of worthless. But it has to be refined and refined and refined. It used to be refined in a fire, and now it's refined through chemical process and things. But God didn't punish Job. God went, I'm going to refine him, and I'm going to prove that he's gold. And this is what I think about you guys. I think that God is proving that you're gold because he knows that you are. And I know it's hard, but stay strong. And I love you guys. All right, we're going to get to work. So, as you can clearly see, it's been about 28 minutes, and we have some backsplash up, which makes it so much better. Now, we still haven't grouted it yet, and it still needs to be cleaned up and polished and stuff, but what a big difference. I mean, wow, right? So, Mike and I were talking, and Mike made a pretty good observation that this is beautiful. And then what did you say, Mike?
Well, I was kind of thinking of facades, how we hide
behind a
mistakes or things like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that brings up two good points. So some people you meet, they're all front door. And you're like, what does that mean? Well, if they do a movie set, a lot of times it looks like a town square, or like this town's not big enough for the both of us. And you're like, just build a bigger town. But they didn't. So they had these sets, but then in the back, it's just like, there's nothing, right? You open up the door and you're like, I'm backstage already. And so some people are like that. But then also, this reminds me, do you know where the word sincere came from, Mike?
No, I don't. I could try to figure it out, but we don't have time in this video.
So there's a Greek word, synsi, and it means without wax. And so whenever, back in ancient Greece, they were carving out of marble, you can imagine they're carving a person, right? Tick, 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 for weeks, months, whatever. And then they're like, uh-oh, which happens, right? And then they're like, we don't want the boss man to know. And so they would get wax and they would smooth it over, and they'd smooth over the spot like, oh, remember how he didn't have a nose? Now he has a nose again. Or like a chip on his ear or shoulder, whatever in the world it might be. And so they would put wax in there. But sincere means without wax, as we really are, with our flaws showing. Which kind of reminds me too, I'm just going to say it, okay? Like, girls on Facebook and Instagram, like, you have so many filters, we don't recognize you in real life. I've had people walk up to me like, hey, I'm your Facebook friend. I'm like, I don't know you. Remember from Instagram, you comment on my stuff all the time. I'm like, no. And then they tell me their name. I'm like, oh, you don't look anything like that in real life. So what I want to do is I want to have the opposite. I want to have the ugliest, which I do all the time, ugliest, dirtiest, John pictures. And then when you see me out in real life, you're like, he's not that bad. So I don't know if that helps or not. Anyway, we're going to get some sleep and then come back and do more work. I'm so excited. So excited. All right. Oh, hey there. So today we're doing amazing things with Ryan Carroll. Now Ryan has a glass company, and he does amazing shower glass, custom stuff, and all kinds of things. Do you do anything else, Ryan?
We do windows,
Yeah.
mirrors.
Yeah.
I'm a window repair expert.
Yeah.
Anything, yeah.
So anything with glass, he does it. What I was getting at is, do you do anything else? Like, have you had any other careers?
Do a little music.
A little music, a little. Okay, I'm gonna go brag on him because he won't brag on himself. Ryan is the drummer for Element 80, and also for
Hip Hop Array.
Hip Hop.
Iconic band.
Yep, there you go.
A lot of bands.
Yeah, so that's amazing. Now, today you're putting this in, and I'm so confused because I don't understand how things work, so please explain it to me like I'm an idiot.
Well, we mounted this to the wall first.
Yep.
Because the heavy door is going to mount to this panel, so
Yep.
you want it very secure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm putting another bracket right here, in the process of drilling the hole. Then we're going to hang the door, and then we're going to finish it off with this little return here, 90 degree.
I think that's amazing. And you use just the power of your mind and then these tools and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome.
Suction cups.
And, show them the suction cups. Look at that
Climb a
thing.
skyscraper with this thing.
Yeah, so if you've ever seen like
Lifts up to 400 pounds.
Mission Impossible or anything like that, then that's where that came from. And that's tough. It's tough stuff. So, Ryan, what are you doing here? This looks beautiful.
Well, I'm trying to level this door out because it doesn't look beautiful right there.
Well,
making it crazy.
but what's all this blue tape? I don't understand. I'm not a smart person, so
We
please.
need sharp caulk lines.
And that helps.
That's the only way I know how to make them sharp.
Please explain this to people that don't
My
understand.
signature. You run your silicone. You got some pretty big gaps in places, and you have to use a lot of silicone, so it's hard to keep it neat.
Right.
But with this tape, you just squirt it in there, smear it in there, and then peel the tape off, and you got a perfectly straight line.
So you put the silicone on, and then you take the silicone off, or take the tape off, sorry.
If you don't get it on the glass, it's a nightmare to clean off with glass.
Yeah. It's a sticky mess, isn't it?
Magic eraser, though, if you ever find yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
I just learned that recently.
Really? I love new tricks. You got any other tricks for people? Like me?
No.
I'm a people. And then, let's see how that looks. Oh, that's beautiful. No smeary smear. Excellent work. Thanks, Ryan. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you and get some glass done, what's your number?
214-608-6900. I don't have business cards.
Who needs business cards anymore? We got the internet. Look how fancy that is. And what part of the world do you service? Just North America, or do you go beyond? More in the Texas DFW Metroplex kind of area?
Yeah.
Focus on that.
Trying to stay in Collin County as much as possible.
That's because you're smart. So look at that. Nice, clean lines. Beautiful.
Here it is. Don't use it for 24 hours.
I'm glad you said something. I was about to get in there and take a shower right now. No? Well, you know my policy. I'm not happy till you're not happy. So yeah, how does that work?
Both ways.
You open it up, and then you open up the other. What? How classy is that? Man, you ought to do this for a living. And then radio. There you go. Let the light in. Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for everything. You're the greatest. Oh, hey there. Come on. You know what? You guys have seen me grout before. It's not that big of a deal. We laid this tile the other day. Yesterday was a busy day doing other things, but today we're going to grout this, among other things. Hopefully we're going to get real close to being done, or maybe even done, which is great. Now, this looks good, but it will look better here in a minute. But I want to show you something that maybe over time looks worse. Okay, so just imagine, I got this right here. Imagine that you've got a heart, and it's a pretty good sized heart, right? Like it's a big heart. And you think to yourself, I want to save this for somebody that really matters, right? And so then you finally meet the one, and you're like this, like, you know what? I want to give you half of my heart, and then you do. And then she takes it. I'll just show you what she does. And she's like this. Oh, that's nice. And then you're all like, and then she lights on fire. And you're like, well, that wasn't very nice. But then, some time passes, and you're like, I think I've healed up, and this has got like a scar, but it's okay. And then, maybe you meet like the girl of your dreams again, and then you're like this, like, I want to give you half of what I got left. And then you're trying to keep this precious, right? And she's like this, oh, and then you maybe like have some kids or get married or whatever. And then after a while, she's like this. And lights it on fire, maybe there's explosions or whatever, yeah. So then some more time passes, and maybe you're a little more careful with your heart, right? You're like this, like, and then just, yeah, you can see what she does with it. No thanks. So then you do that, I don't know, 10 or 20 times, and it starts to get more difficult. Let's just call that 20. And then you meet somebody else, oh, this is the one. Yeah, all the shots fired. And then you're like, oh, I think I've healed up. Look, there's just scars left where, whatever's left apart. And then you're like this, I just want to give you, because I really love you, I want to give you what's left in my heart. And then what do you think she does? Lights on fire, bomb. Let's say that you do this another however many times it takes. And then by the end of it, you're like this, like, I really want to give you half my heart, but I don't got anything left. Oh, there's a little bit left. And then you're like, I feel like I'm going to be splitting atoms soon. And this is the story of why I don't have a heart. Oh, hey there. That's embarrassing. So, the kitchen. I don't know if we talked about this yesterday. How beautiful is that kitchen? I mean, wow. So, Valerie and Mike, mostly Valerie, picked this out, and my goodness, it's beautiful. So, I just want to take a moment and appreciate that. You know what else I want to appreciate? I want to appreciate, just take a moment right now. We're not 100% done. We're real close. But I want to thank all the people that were a part of building this house, right? So the concrete guys, Benno and Jared and all you guys, all the people that helped me with framing and all of my helpers and all the Billy and Sharon Feaster for doing insulation and sheetrock, tape and bend texture, and Sylvester and Angel for doing the roof and the metal stuff. That was amazing. Ryan and Shane for doing the shower glass, just everybody that was a part of this. It was just so many people helped out, and I'm humbled by this, and I just think it's beautiful, and I'm so very grateful. Now, what I want to talk to you about, this has been I think about this a lot, right? So Jesus is talking, and he says, so the disciples are talking to Jesus, and they go, we have left everything for you. And Jesus stops them right there. And he goes, nobody has left homes or brothers or sisters or mothers or fathers or children or land or any other thing that will not receive, for my name's sake, that will not receive 100 times as much in this life and in the life to come. And it's real easy to be skeptical if you haven't actually tried that. It's real easy to go, yeah, that sounds good for somebody else, but not for me. I just want to say, and I don't talk about this a lot, but when I first got saved, I read everything in the Bible, and I was like, this is what it says, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm going to take it literally, and I'm going to do exactly what it says. And so I gave away everything I had. I had just basically clothes on my back. And that's happened 2 or 3 different times in my life. And I got to say, I can't keep stuff off of me. As much as I keep trying to give it away or get rid of it, or I don't need it, I don't want it, whatever. I am so blessed beyond measure. And I feel like God just goes, you know what? You gave me everything. I'm going to give you everything back, and then 100 times as much. And I just feel so very grateful for that. And not just things, right? I mean, yes, I have things, but experiences, friendships, character, all this stuff is this is what life is really about, right? And I'm so incredibly blessed. And I guess the reason why I'm telling you this is because I want to encourage you guys that if you take the Bible literally, and if you do what he says, and if you're like, look, I'm not going to make excuses, right? There's a song that says, I've decided to follow Jesus. And it repeats that several times. And then the next verse says, though none may join me, still I will follow. And that can be hard. That can be hard going out on your own and not knowing, like, what's beyond that? Am I a fool? Are people going to laugh at me? Will I be proven wrong? Is this just some kind of a pipe dream, or is this real? And I got to say, from somebody who's done it ahead of you, looking back, it's real. It's worth it. Do it. Get right with God and do what he says. Take it seriously because it matters and because he stands true to his word and he keeps his promises and he pays back his debt. And part of paying back his debt is this. The Bible says that when we are kind to the poor, when we show mercy to the poor, that is giving a loan to God, and he will pay us back 1,000 times as much. And we don't do it for the payback. We do it because it's the right thing. But that's a real thing, right? If you're like, I want to know how to show my love back to God for what he's done for me, go find somebody that's got less than you and go help them out. And the Bible also is very specific about, it says, true religion is this, to take care of orphans and widows. That's what it says. And anytime somebody's a widow, I'm going to jinx myself here because I'll probably get 10 phone calls tonight, but anytime somebody's a widow, I'm just like, I take that very seriously, and I think that God does too, and it's never at a convenient time, but that is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to take care of helpless people. We're not given strength and money and power and things like this so that we can show it off. We're giving that stuff so that we can help people that are less than us and bring them up to our level. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful night, and we're going to go home because it's late. Hey there. What are you guys up to? So I just want to show off this bathroom a little bit. Take a look at this. We got this granite in here, of course, whatever. I can't never keep track, but it's beautiful. Undermount sinks. These are beautiful. Obviously, check it out. When you turn on the sink, water comes out. I think that's wonderful. Hot and cold water. And it's tankless, so that means the water lasts forever. Cool lights. We got the shower in. We got this tub in. Another vanity over here. And, you know, look at that, water coming out. It's really amazing. So one other thing I want to talk to you guys about is this. When Jesus died, okay, now I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, but I think it's very, very important. When Jesus died, a lot of things happened. There was an earthquake, the sky grew dark, and the curtain in the temple was ripped from top to bottom, okay? What does that mean? Now, a lot of people don't know, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. So there was a temple that the Israelites had, and that was where God had his footstool, right? So that would be like where God dwelled, if you will. So there was like the outer gates, and that's where the Gentiles could be. That's the non-Israelites, the non-Jews. And then there was like the inner gates where the common people could go. And then there was like the holy place, and that's where only priests could go. And then there was the Holy of Holies. And the Holy of Holies, there was a huge veil that came down, like a big, large curtain that came down, and only once a year could one priest go into the Holy of Holies and make sacrifices to God. He had to go through the whole purification process, the sanctification process, and there's a whole thing, right? And so if a person, a commoner like myself, wanted to talk to God, then they would have to go and talk to a priest, and then the priest would go and talk to God, if you will, and then God would come back and answer, and so on and so forth. But this is what's significant. When Jesus died, the curtain was ripped from top to bottom, and it was very tall, right? This wasn't like somebody just got up there, rip this thing in half. That's not going to happen. So God himself ripped this curtain from top to bottom in half, and then burst open the gates, if you will, to the Holy of Holies. In other words, every one of us from that point forward can come straight to God. Every one of us has just a direct connection to God, and we can talk to him and he can talk to us. And that is a beautiful thing, which also brings up something else that not a lot of people talk about, and that's the priesthood of all believers. Because you don't have to go through a priest, that means you are, in essence, the priest that then can talk directly to God. And so every one of us has a responsibility and the right to go and talk to God, but also to treat that in a holy way, and not just to abuse it and take it for granted. And, you know, I think we all know people that do that. And I feel like that's not the right way to treat that beautiful, precious gift. But anyway, we are going to go home because, tired. And I love the bathroom. Oh, hey there. So, it is Easter, and what a beautiful and significant day to show you this house. So we're finishing off the season, and I'm so excited, not because I got to build a beautiful house for these wonderful people, but because of how nicely they decorated it and all the great choices they've made. Take a look around here, Mike. I mean, is that not gorgeous? And this was all, every step of the way, I was like this, do the cheap, easy thing. And they're like, we want to do the more difficult, beautiful thing. And I was like, you don't know nothing. And they're like, we do. And at the end of it, I was like, you know stuff and I don't know stuff. But gorgeous, right? I mean, look at this. Decorations, this is stuff I don't do because I'm not very smart. But just, I mean, amazing. So it's such a transformation. I don't know if you remember the before pictures, but the before pictures were basically dirt and grass and brush, mesquite trees and things like that. And this is the after picture. So this to me is a good example of what you can do if you believe in something and then you stick with it, okay? And a lot of times people, they say, oh, I believe, and you're like, but are you gonna stick with it and follow through? Like, are you gonna actually produce and when times get hard? And we had some hard times. If you guys watch the season, you'd be like, man, you were cold a lot, there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of challenges, a lot of rain, a lot of things snagged you up, and there's a lot of things I never even showed you. But so worth it. So we had 70 days of, hey, this was kind of hard, but now, until Jesus comes back, I mean, look at this. What a beautiful house. And a beautiful family to go with the beautiful house. This came with it, right? We built these earlier. We went back in time and had these built. Gorgeous, right? So literally gorgeous. And this comes with the house. So if you guys want a house built, get the good looking girls to go with it because that's important. And they're shy and everything. Like you want that. You want the shy girls, not the camera hungry ones, like the Instagram models or whatever. They're like, huh. You need girls that have like humility and honor and are just beautiful, right? So I am so very excited and so very honored to be able to do this. And every time I just look around here, I'm like, ah. And it's like the reward of the fruit of your labor, because the day you plant the tree is not the day that you eat the fruit of the tree. But it's so nice to come back later and go, I remember when I planted that and now look at it. What a great reward, right? And I think the world is a better place when old men plant trees that they will never eat the fruit of, right? Another thing is we plant seeds in people. And we say, I believe in you. I want to encourage you. I want to pour courage into you. I want to give you faith. I want to help you. And then you look over time and you go, oh, they've grown. And it's a beautiful thing. And then we get to heaven and we're like, and the ripples never stopped and the reward never stops. And I just think this makes it all worth it, right? All the pain and all the cold and all the hot and all the sunburn and the blood. And you look back later and go, I'm glad I did that. And I want you to look back on your life and think, I'm glad I did the right thing. All right, see you guys on the next one. Love you.